Hello all. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Hello
Good morning.
Tapas.
Just give it another couple minutes and then we'll get started.
Sure, Kendall.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good
Hello
afternoon.
Daljit.
Hi, Parthiban. Good evening. I guess we have
Yeah.
people at different locations. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Yes, Daljit.
Hi, Kendall.
Hi. Okay, it looks like we have critical mass, so we can go ahead and get started. We don't have any new things to the agenda. We just have our normal updates. So if there are any things that you would like to add to the agenda, please speak up after the updates, since I believe we'll have plenty of time. So for our first update, we will have the 5G update from Daljit.
Okay, thank you, Kendall. Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure it out how to share my screen. I'm more used to Teams. This is the first time I will be on the Zoom sharing. Just bear with.
There should be I think it's a green little button that says share screen.
Okay, got it. It's there.
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, Daljit.
Okay, perfect. So, hello everyone. My name is Daljit. I work with Wave Labs as a chief architect, and I have a team with me. Parthiban is working with me on testing side of it, and Jugesh is working with us on the development side of it. So I will start with the presentation, and then they are going to take over certain areas. So Kendall, this is, and everyone, this is the 5G asset development update for the Magma community. So we have been developing all these features. If you see the available feature list, we have developed since last meeting. We have developed additional features there. We have the Suki extension. This is subscriber conceal ID extension and expanding further securities in 5G networks. And all these features, available features, are merged and available in Magma Core, and they have been they were well tested, and they are all and we are continuing further testing, actually expanding a lot more on testing that we are going to cover when Parthiban take over. We have done, we are getting into scale testing, we are getting into the testing with the real environment. We have tested with Spirant, and we are moving towards other real equipment for further enhancement on testing side of it. So development in progress, we have actually this we got, like, we were in this holiday season, so there were some slowdown due to some folks were not available, but from actually from development side, still there is a lot of good progress. We have developed the feature we are seeing in the list, development in progress. There are a lot of development there. We have a lot of pull requests there, which we are going through merge process, and it's moving really good there. So so dynamic policy support, session modification is in good shape. IPv6 support is almost there, and Yogesh is going to go through all the PRs which are pending for merge, and feature parity with 4G. Yeah, there are like enhancements, and we have we are going to discuss on this from development side. With the scope of the work we discussed is already developed and ready for merge, but they are redesigning we want to do for 4G and 5G both. That's under discussion. But from 5G parity with 4G, that development is done, and we are very close getting to, like, a distribution ready, like in January, if we go ahead and agree on that. But at the same time, with any additional redesigning and refactoring we need for 4G, 5G, we are in discussion on those. And rest of the feature, GTP extension header support, and remove gateway access for orchestra internal endpoints. They are moving well, and there are some milestone we are planning to deliver this month, and some are in February. So I will pass down. Yogesh, are you in the call? Okay.
Daljit, looks like Yogesh is not in the call. Either you
Okay,
should
that's
cover,
fine.
or
That's
Suresh
fine.
can help.
Yeah, so I think I can pass. Suresh, are you in the call?
Daljit, you want me to give update on this, or you can?
No, I think this is very much yeah, you can add on, like, but I think this is very much heavily on the status of the 5G SA hardening status, right? So we have this is a series of defects which are already closed, and there are a series of PRs which are pending for merge, right? And gap unit testing, I think from they are ready, they are implemented, they are tested. The more regression testing will come once they are fully merged and in the main branch. So yeah, Suresh, you can add on if you think we need more details to discuss.
Yeah, sure. From the regression test point of view, we had a few issues, particularly issues related to multi-session support. And there is one issue related to QoS configuration. So there are multiple issues, however, they are largely falling in those two areas: multi-session support and one bug related to the QoS configuration. So those are the issues, root caused and closed. And on NGAP, our goal was by end of December to reach 60% unit test coverage. We achieved that on NGAP. Net today on the access side, both on the NGAP and on the AMF, we have crossed 60% unit test coverage. Yeah, and there was a bug in the PDU session setup. There is a UE context release command is sent when there is a PDU session setup related issue. So that issue got fixed. Yeah, Daljit, can you move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Right. The stateless feature is important to make the AGW in a way that it can support scale in, scale out decisions. Say a network function, for example, AMF, is to go for scale out, or you need to scale in when there is less load. To support that, we need to make the network function stateless. So for that, what is planned? Redis DB will store the state information. As such, in Magma, session D maintenance of state is secondary. On the access side itself, for all the PDU sessions as well, we maintain the state. And also the UE context information also is maintained on the AMF itself. So this state information is to be transitioned to Redis DB. That is part of this feature. Okay, and the design is frozen and a couple of PRs are merged, and there are around 6 to 8 PRs now in review. Once these PRs are landed in the master, this feature will be available for deployment. So this feature gives the flexibility to restart the network function or launch multiple instances of the network functions flexibly. So with this feature, we will be on par with 4G in terms of the key features that are required on 5G SA. I'm sorry. Daljit, can you go on to the next slide, please? Yeah, basic IPv6 support is planned, and Mobility D is the one that assigns IP addresses to UE sessions. Earlier, until the month of November, we have only IPv4 support available, and now with this feature, the plan is to have IPv6 IP address allocations to the UEs. And there are impacts on session D, pipeline D, and also on AMF. The PRs related to pipeline D and session D are merged. And there is one PR waiting for review in the AMF. Once this PR goes for a merge, then this feature will be available for deployment. This is a very important one. However, the full-blown IPv6 support needs some more time. I think it will be available in Q1 2022 or sometime later. Basically, for the uplink downlink, PDU session establishment, as well as the traffic propagation uplink and downlink, we wanted to try out few use cases wherein the service endpoint put up on the edge will be using a dual stack. Say on a dual stack node, the node is having a V6 address and UE is having IPv4 address. Then also the traffic has to flow. So like that, there are few use cases we want to test and stabilize. All the scenarios are working. So for that, the advanced IPv6 support will have to be implemented later this year. We plan to have it either towards the end of first quarter or in the second quarter of 2022. Any questions on this one? Okay. Yeah, can you move on to the next one, Daljit? Yeah, dynamic policy support. So basically, a static static policy support and QoS configuration through the policy is already implemented and tested. One of the issues is in review now. Other than that, the important one is the dynamic policy support. So for this, the plan is to use the federated interface towards the MNO core to configure the policy dynamically from the MNO core. So for that, there are changes implemented on FEG relay of orchestrator and also on the PCF, also on the SMF. So SMF means in the Magma context, it is called session D. A good number of PRs are landed. Only a stub that triggers the dynamic policy update is pending. And also there is one PR planned for creating additional logs. So except for these two, the dynamic policy support is fully available. So once these two PRs also landed, it enables Magma to have PDU session modification. So with PDU session modification, we can change the QoS rules of the UE sessions dynamically. So that's the final intent. So basically the dynamic policy support will be useful to change the PDU sessions, means modify the PDU sessions. And as such, in the field so far, no single operator has asked for UE initiated session modification. So largely it is always network initiated session modification. For that reason, Magma plans to have network initiated session modification only. So if anyone has any suggestions on session modification, we can have a discussion on that towards the end of this update. Yeah, Daljit, can you go on to the next one?
Yep.
Anusha, you want to give an update on this one?
Sure, sir. Yeah, this is about removing the gateway access for the orchestration internal servicer endpoints. So here we are trying to achieve a segregation between the orchestration internal servicer endpoints and external servicer endpoints for some security reasons. So, okay, so there are a number of services which are only internal, only external, and there are some services which is handling both internal and external requests. So the plan is to do it in three different milestones, like only internal, external, and split consent. So we have raised PRs for all the internal services which are ready for review, and we are in progress for the external and the split consent services here. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Anusha. So Parthiban, back to you with the testing update.
Yeah, thank you, Daljit. Yeah, we are, as Daljit mentioned, we are trying to do the SIT with physical GNB and Huawei Mate 30 UEs, and here we have some roadblocks now. The Bicell hardware and software needs an upgrade, and we are waiting for some upgradation over there. The FPGA card has to be upgraded in the hardware side, and then the associated software also has to be upgraded. And it looks like the logistics is going on, and we are yet to get those FPGA shipped into our TIP VPN lab, and that's going to get that restarted, and we should be able to do this physical GNB with physical UE testing, the SIT testing, and that's where we stand. On the regression, the TerraVM is used right now for the daily regressions. I have put up a small graph there. You could see that the green line over there is about the fail percentage, and the yellow line is the yellow line is the fail percentage, and the green line is about the pass percentage over there. And in between, this is the last 1 week's data, and in between there was an outage in our the VPN lab, the TIP VPN lab, and it has brought down all of our TerraVM setup itself, and that made us to get it into not runnable on those days, and that's where you could see that it's all marked as a failure over there. And we have been able to get back those setup back, and we are able to get back to the normal. And the average pass percentage right now is about 80% and above. We are aiming to get it that into 90%, so that we will be able to improve our code quality. That's where we are working on. We are trying to track each and every bugs and getting those bugs fixed over there. And there are also cases like we are having few of the additional extended 5G features test cases are getting added into. QAS, multi-session, we saw some of the bugs are getting fixed. We will get them added into our daily regression. Those test cases are available now. Those are going to get added into our daily regression, and then total number of test cases list will get increased over there. This is all about the daily regressions which are happening right now. On the scale test front, we are using right now the Spirent, and our target is to see that 200 UE attach detach benchmarking has to happen. And we see that it's right now we are able to make 200 UE attach detach with the PDU session and the traffic flowing. And there are few glitches on some of the areas, like the PDU session getting retry and some issues are there. I think those are interlinked with what is there in the regression bugs as well. So that's been seen even in the scale test now. And once the regression bugs are getting fixed, it should be able to make it up in the scale test as well. But as such now, net, we are able to see 200 UE attach detach with the PDU session and traffic flowing in a good way. And we are trying to take some more profiling data for the CPU memory utilization as well. In the last meeting, in this engineering meeting, I shared some of the memory footprints on this 200 UE thing. And we are trying to take a few more iterations and see that it is all stable and there is no glitches over there when we do in multiple registration methods as well, the SUPI based, SUSI based and GUTI based registrations as well. And that's the exercise going on. And I'll keep posting here in this forum as and when we make some progress over here and get some profiling data on this. Yeah. Daljit, can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you. So this is one of the effort on the TIP OCN badging process. This is mainly to see that Magma is not lagging any of the requirements what the TIP is coming about with. TIP has come up with their own FWA requirements, and we are seeing that we are able to match to those requirements to improve the Magma here. That's the whole idea and the whole process where we are committed to understand that one and able to come up with a test case list for those requirements so that we could be able to identify the gap and see that we could be able to fill it up in our Magma. That's in that process. We have also put up a separate CI/CD pipeline, and we are able to add our test cases into it, which is right now testing the Magma now. And we are trying to make that as a parallel regression to that of what is existing right now from the ITL team. And this should be able to run in parallel and able to get a few more the code quality improvement over here. We are trying to make that happen. And in that process, we have started the CI pipeline regression, and we are trying to add few more test cases into it. And the other part is we are trying to even identify test plan and test cases for some of the non-functional requirements of the TIP requirements, whatever is listed over there, and see that how it is matching with our Magma. This is the exercise going on. We'll keep posting here as and when we progress here as well. This is the update. Thanks. Over to you, Daljit.
Thank you, Parthiban. Thank you, Suresh, for the status. So, anybody, any questions from development or testing side of 5G? All right. Good, Kendall. Back to you.
Great. Thank you so much for that update. Oh,
Kendall,
was there a question?
one small observation. Looks like some of the regular members who usually attend these sessions still think that the session will be 30 minutes late like earlier. So,
Oh no.
So I think one more round of broadcast will help people.
Okay, I can make sure to send an update around to everyone again.
Yeah, thanks,
just to
Kendall.
make sure. Yes, of course. Thanks for letting me know. All right. If you want to stop sharing your screen, we can move on to the next update. It would be a DevOps update from Tariq. Is he on the call?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So we had our DevOps meeting yesterday. Shubham gave us a demo on his scripts that deploy cloud services on-prem as well as non-AWS account-based systems. So I'm not sure if Shubham is here, if he wants to give a very quick kind of overview of his work and when is that expected to land?
Yeah, so hi everyone. So the goal here is to limit the resources of Orchestrator that we are using in terms of RAM, CPU, IP, and cost. if right now our official setup is Terraform AWS, that costs around $1,000, and goal is to bring it to $100 if at least people want to try it out. So the development which I'm working on is, which we also tested yesterday, is doing all that. Now we are using one IP. We are using 8 GB of RAM and 100 GB of storage and around 4 CPU, and everything's inside Orchestrator is working just fine. There are just logging related bugs that right now I'm trying to fix. Once that is complete, then yeah, we can land it in master branch.
Thanks, Shubham. And the second development, Quentin and the team has been working on-demand load testing on AWS that is being triggered by CI that is currently running. The hope is we will hook it up to our dashboard so that you can see the results as they become available. Thirdly, I think we have now online 3 test systems reporting test results to the dashboard. If you are not tracking that, please have a look. So we have the Spirent test setup within Facebook and the TerraVM test setup as well as the 5G test setup from Wave Labs. They are all tracking new builds and submitting test reports against them. Take a look at our dashboard and see the logs for yourself. So that's it for DevOps today.
Thanks, Drake. Any questions?
Thanks, Tariq. Tariq, if you remember, we had a last discussion where we were also planning to add Helm charting of the Kubernetes-based deployment into our CI dashboard so that we could monitor that as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we took that task. Hopefully, we'll start working on that soon. So we'll add Helm charts to the list of builds.
We are ready to collaborate and work together with you on that. Please do let us know if we have to contribute something. We are open, and we have the complete know-how of it.
Thank you. So it's if you we can discuss offline, but it should be straightforward. It's the same CI workflow that generates the builds that also generates the Helm charts, and adding them should be very straightforward. The PR should not. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Tariq. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks.
Thanks. Any other questions? Great. We can move on to our last update, which will be the release update. But I don't see Echo on the call, so it'll be someone else giving the release update today. Well, if not, then we can skip it for this time around. So that actually brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything that people would like to discuss since we still have time?
Yeah, in case someone from Tariq's team or from the Praveen's team are available to discuss the outbound roaming feature that is getting implemented. We'd like to listen from them.
Yeah, I hope that Oriol or Ulash was on the call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but since they are not, I think it's best to take this offline.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else? If not, then we can go ahead and end early.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To all.